I don't think you guys understand how excited I am for this video. Like, I keep getting people like asking me for like about 3 months now, like, what's shadow work? What is shadow work? And I'm like, I just need to like make a video of this. Like, I'm so here for this right now. It's finally here. I've been trying to make a video on shadow work since before I even had a YouTube. Like, oh my gosh. And now we're here. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You better buckle yourselves in, because what is in store, you are not prepared for. Maybe you are. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So, what is shadow work? What is this shadow work everybody in the spiritual world keeps talking about? Why do I have to do shadow work? Why? What are they like? What? Okay, everyone. Okay. So shadow work is basically, um, in psychological terms, and the medical field, the basically equivalent to shadow work is psychoanalysis. It's going into your subconscious and figuring out those dark parts of yourself. In the spiritual realm, we call it shadow work because it is literally dealing with that shadow part of your subconscious that you try to keep in the shadows. The part that is hidden, that has so much of who you are and what you've been through and what you've dealt with, that you just try to keep in the shadows, because if you were to bring it out into the light, it would not be pretty. It would hurt. It would trigger you. And a lot of people are like, okay, so shadow work, what would I have? Like, I don't have anything to heal, you know? And I figured out that, because for a minute I was like, okay, I've dealt with my shadow work. I have nothing else to hide, there's nothing else in me. And then I had to ask myself, what is that one thing that you don't talk about? What is that one thing or multiple things that if someone asks you about, you would like flinch, it would make you super, super uncomfortable? What is that one thing that you just would rather avoid than talk about forever because it's just too uncomfortable, too triggering? That right there is a beautiful opportunity to reap the benefits of shadow work. So shadow work, it's not easy, okay? Because like I just said, and that thing is probably in your head, and some people might have clicked off this video. Shadow work, if everybody in the world did some degree of shadow work, this would be a better place. Because what you hold in the shadows, it grows, you know? Okay, I digress. So, shadow work is basically focusing on that one thing and figuring out how to heal it, figuring out how to evolve past whatever that thing is. Whether it is, that feeling of abandonment from when you were little, or, you know, abuse, or a terrible relationship, or literally getting turned down at work and feeling like you're worthless, but then just shoving that down and going on with your day. All of those little things. So, okay, for example, feeling of abandonment. Like that fear of abandonment, So, shadow work would be, a cute little meditation, or just sitting with yourself, or figuring out why you have a fear of abandonment. That's step one of shadow work. So, okay, why do I have a fear of this? Where did this come from? And, it really, really helps if you tune out everything around you. You shut off everything, sit in silence, or listen to very like Zen music. Just shut your eyes and think, where did this feeling come from? Like, okay, so I'm gonna go back. The first time I ever felt this feeling, let's try to channel that. The first time I ever felt abandoned was probably when I was 7 years old. My parents were fighting outside, and my dad left. Like he just left. I felt abandoned by my dad. And there's so many different techniques to heal that part, but my favorite technique, and I find this works for me, find what works for you if this doesn't work for you, but also try it, see if it does. um, really sit down and just picture yourself. So for me, I would picture myself when I was 7 years old, looking out of the window and being like, Dad, where are you going? Are you leaving me? Like, what the hell? This is like getting super personal. Sorry if this is making anybody uncomfortable, but like, I'm very open about this type of thing because it is so important to me. Um, so, okay, pause. We're going to continue. So, I would walk into that scene as me now, sit down on the couch with my 7-year-old self, and say, hey, he's not abandoning you. No one is leaving you. You are perfect the way that you are. You are whole in everything that you have. You need nothing else. No one is ever going to leave you, you know? And then end it there. Add some things if you want. And that's like, yes, people are going to leave you. They're going to leave your life. But are they leaving you? Or are they leaving the situation? Or are they leaving the physical self? Like, they're leaving you physically, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and in your memory, they're still there. So no one ever actually completely leaves you unless you like completely block them out and have amnesia, the whole situation, and they're gone. Like they're completely fucking gone. Yeah, a lot of people don't like to do shadow work because it hurts. It's digging up the thing that's super uncomfortable. The thing that you would literally rather kill yourself over than talk about to anybody. The reason why you're bitter to people that kind of remind you of that shadow work, or of that one thing. But to me, shadow work is beautiful, and it literally exudes like strength in that person. It makes you super fucking strong, okay? And you don't have to go straight to the huge fucking elephant in your room and, in your subconscious. Start off with something small, like something that your friend did that you really hate but you don't really want to talk about, like the fact that your friend stole your boyfriend and left you feeling useless or replaceable, something like that. Start there. That was a very shoddy random example, but things like that. So shadow work is the number one key element to spiritual, personal, and emotional evolution. Emotional evolution is top. It's like, because you can't evolve if there's something holding you back, right? You can't keep going if you're tethered to something. Whether, you have terrible friends and you're trying to go somewhere, but they're like, why are you trying to go there? They keep you down, things like that. Um, family members that doubt your every move to better yourself. In a sense, that negative thing that shadow work can fix is doing exactly that. You're trying to evolve, you're trying to come into a new sense of yourself, but then you have this thing in the back of your head that is tethering you to who you were at 7 years old when you felt abandoned. And so you're not able to accept new loving opportunities or feel like you deserve them, or, and that was me projecting for that example. But, so everybody, literally everybody has undergone some degree of trauma in their life, and you can't compare trauma. That person that is asking you to compare trauma, get them out of your life. Literally get them out of your life, because they're basically saying, my trauma is bigger than your trauma. Why do you think you have the right to blah, blah, blah? And I've had friends like that. I really have. And I had to literally kick them to the curb, because every degree of trauma, whether it is 1 degree or 10,000, it's still super impactful, and you still need to learn how to cope with it. How do you cope with it? You look at it, okay? Shadow work is that transition from running away from that huge current, that huge wave that has been chasing you for years, to finally turning around and looking at it and saying, hey, I realize that I'm bigger than you now. I realize that with the right work, with the right intention, and with the right attention, I can I can heal you, not fix, because you're not broken. No one is ever broken, okay? But everybody needs healing. And that's a very, very thin line, very thin, but so are a lot of things, you know? It's just, shadow work is beautiful, you know? It really is. I, if it weren't for me doing my shadow work, I'd be exactly where I was my senior year of high school. And that's doubting myself, doubting everybody around me, thinking their intentions are just to harm me, to ruin me, thinking that, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I don't deserve anything amazing. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve, and one day, I don't know if it was someone that I saw that truly inspired me or what, but one day I was like, where are these thoughts coming from? Like, why do I feel like this? And I sat down with myself. And that was like the first time I've ever, I called it psychoanalysis because I was super into psychology. I still am. I was a psych major in college, and I'm like on my last semester, but anyway, um, yeah, I was like, hey, where is this coming from, and how do I change? Where is this coming from, and how do I fix it? Everyone that has clicked on this video, if you are watching this video, I bet you $1,000 you were at that point. You're either curious about all this talk about shadow work, or you want to do it. Like, I want to figure out how to live more in the light. I want to figure out how I can get more degree of myself in the light than in the shadow, you know? So it's about looking at that shadow, literally putting light on that spot, and you're gonna feel super exposed. A lot of people, and this happened to me, and I was completely unaware of this side effect of shadow work, because what you're doing is you're taking the scab off of this wound, and you're basically shining light on it to heal it. Like you're healing it so that it doesn't even need a scab, it just completely heals. But when you take the scab off of that, it's exposed. So, like, when I was doing shadow work for like a couple weeks after that, I felt super, super vulnerable. And then one side of me that told myself to do the shadow work, it was like, this is okay. It's okay. Vulnerability is beautiful. It's working. People can see you. This is what you want. You want people to see who you truly are, you know? Because if people don't see who you truly are, they make friends with that frame that you put up. But I digress. So when I was doing that shadow work, the side effects, I kind of felt sick afterwards. but not physically. It was like emotionally and psychologically, if that makes sense. Like, kind of mirroring depressive episodes, but I wasn't depressed. Like, I wanted to lay in bed. I didn't want to get out. I didn't have any interest. I didn't really want to talk to any friends. And I was like, wow, like, the one time I try to heal something and I break even more, I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing this again. Like, bullshit. So I realized that, like, I literally stopped for a minute because I was like, this is disgusting. Like, I don't want to do this again. Why am I sick? And it didn't, it took me like a week or two to realize that that was why I was sick, because I dug that part of me up and it was completely out in the open and raw, where all parts of myself can see it. Instead of, like, a few weeks before, I was just like, why do I feel this way? What part of me? And then, like, a week later, after I did that, I was like, that part of me. Like, I can see you now. You were out, you were on center stage where all of me can see you, and it just kind of shut things down. I'm not going to say that will happen to you, but it's kind of a common, it's more common than not, for people that do like avid shadow work. They will tell you that there are some side effects to it. And it might not be that extreme, you might feel nauseous or something like the next day and it might go away, or you might not feel anything. But you never know unless you try. And the most important thing is to just keep going. And the way I got out of that was being like, okay, I just need to keep shining my light and like keep going, because now that that part of me is out in front of my hand or I can see it, I need to heal it and I need to let it go. Like, surrender it to spirit, to divine, to God, Allah, whatever you call it. It's the same thing. That's a different story. But anyway, um, yeah, shadow work truly is beautiful. It is. I thank shadow work for being in my life. I've been doing shadow work for about 3, 4 years now, I want to say. Um, wow. Yeah. And I would not be where I am if it weren't for that. Like, honestly. So, I invite you after this video to just take rhythmic breaths. Breathe in for 7 seconds or 6. Breathe out for 6 or 7 seconds. And ask yourself, what is the one thing that I'm running from? What is one thing that I don't like to talk about? And ask yourself why. And look at it and figure out how you can heal it. Because we were all one age when something initially happened to us to make us believe something negative throughout our lives. So the best thing, in my opinion, is to go back to that initial exposure when you were that, however many years old, and heal her, heal him. Tell him or her that they're okay, that they'll get through it, that you're there to heal them. You're there to give them love. The best way to heal anything is to give it love and light. Point blank, period. On that note, I'm going to leave it here. So that's my part 1 of shadow work for now. I might do another one later, but I mean, we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully you guys got some good nuggets from that. Let me know if you have any like contradictory views on shadow work. Let me know if, you know, this resonated, if you felt a certain way, or if you're gonna do it, if you're not gonna do it, or if it's complete bullshit. Let me know literally all of it down in the comments below. Shoot me a like if you liked it, if you'd like to see more. More is coming. So, I won't stop you from subscribing or liking or sharing. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Love and light.